It's Tuesday. We're happy to be here. We have all kinds of things. I don't even know. I feel like there's some like downers, but there's always a bright side. So, we talk about everything all the time and we keep it happy.
We gonna keep it happy.
There's lots of bright side. There's
a lot of bright
everywhere.
side. We're talking all about trucks today.
It is it's truck day. Have you ever
Did you
owned a
notice
truck?
that? Did you feel that in the
All
show
about
notes?
truck. I did. Have you ever owned a truck? Like a pickup truck?
But
Me neither. And I was this close. I mean, this close once. And then you know what got me? I was like, I don't want to park a pickup truck at the airport. I was like, that garage is tight enough.
You
and
are
literally
right.
that was what made me not do it.
I think
Adrian's got the first comment. We got to put it up. She commented first
look
comment.
at that, Adrian coming in.
Brian's letting Jordan know he's awake. Everybody's
where's
just
Jordan?
like putting their business up in the comments.
Look at that. Oh man.
So
I'll tell you
never
what,
owned a
on
truck.
the truck side of things,
Mhm.
I legit so often want a truck. And then I look at my garage and I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth there's a truck fitting in that
Your
thing.
garage doesn't want a truck, right?
My garage doesn't want a truck. And I cannot. This is maybe bad, but I can't fathom not parking my car in a garage that I've paid for.
That's Boujo.
Oh yeah. It's
You park both cars in the garage?
We do.
Zip?
Yep.
It's like, look, once you do it, I mean, you don't even have snow. In upstate New York, when I got a garage, it changed my life. I spent more than a decade in like Oswego, New York that gets a lot more snow than Syracuse and just like shoveling. And I pulled out of the garage and I was like, so this is why I see cars on the road with no snow in them. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's
amazing.
Unbelievable.
It'd be really
It's
hard to go
if
back.
it's super hot or super cold or anything.
Rainy.
Yeah.
Or you got kids, right? You can deploy the kids into the garage to get in the car and know they're at least contained.
Yep.
Right. And once they're big enough to like open the garage door, you can trust them by that point with a lot of things.
Hey, speaking of bougie trucks.
Oh, you saw one yesterday.
I did. I saw a Rivian yesterday. A buddy of mine came by to pick up some stuff that was stored in my house and that whole 9 yards.
See, well, no, hold on. Before you continue.
Yeah.
That's the best way, right? You have a friend with a truck.
Exactly.
So it's like having a friend with a boat.
That's all you need. You just need a friend with the thing that you wish you had. Exactly. But first of all, the truck is super clean. He ordered it on March 1st, got it on April 1st because we've talked about this, but he got one of the quad motors, which is the ones they have kind of sitting on the shelf right now.
Yep.
But the coolest thing about the truck, and you can see it if you're watching the video, the photo, the back trailer or the tailgate is on hinges, and they're tied to the frame. So actually it is a weight bearing part of the tailgate. So even though the tailgate's only like 4 or 4.5 feet, you get that additional space. And he's like, yeah, it's like totally weight bearing. You can put a full ATV and have 2 of the tires sitting on that thing and not a problem. And it's like lay flat. So you can put, it all slides out all nice. And
that tailgate looks like it's never, it looks cool, but it looks like it's never going to have an ATV on it.
It's probably because speaking of bougie trucks, you know what I mean?
I wasn't even ready. I wasn't even ready with the segue button. Ohio-based electric truck manufacturer Lordstown Motors has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection and is now taking legal action against Taiwanese manufacturer Foxconn, accusing them of fraudulent conduct and a series of broken promises, including not abiding by an agreement to invest up to $170 million in the company. So, Foxconn, right? They assemble the iPhones.
Right.
They previously invested $52+ million in Lordstown Motors, and they have about an 8.4% stake. They said Lordstown breached their investment contract when the share price went under $1 per share. So basically, Lordstown, Ohio is where the company's founded. Really great, red-blooded American town. This was going to be kind of the savior of the town, auto manufacturing, EVs. It was a big deal. And their product, the pickup called the Endurance, it just had a lot of issues, right? And all the challenges of a new startup. And then on top of it, the CEO, Stephen Burns, resigned in 2021 after acknowledging overstatements, we'll call them that, of pre-orders for its trucks. So now Lordstown just didn't have enough cash to continue. Stock price under $1. And, there are some questions around what Foxconn's actual plan is to let the company go under, because they obviously have a lot of other contracts and partnerships with some growing EV partners to manufacture EV trucks. So some overseas manufacturers might be moving into Lordstown, Ohio. I mean, hopefully the factory stays running, people stay employed. That'd be a win. But I mean, hey, this is one of those examples of a lot of excitement around EVs, a lot of vision around EVs. Really, really hard to make a vehicle.
We're gonna see. This is not the first time that we've seen a manufacturer really struggle to enter the market, and there are people that have called back to like the early 1900s where like there were 200 OEMs attempting to take advantage of the market, and we're still left with under 30 in mass market OEMs at this point.
There's one in Syracuse. Actually, there's more than one in Syracuse. Buildings
right.
like they used to make cars in that building.
Exactly. So the prime opportunity here is new real estate, well done manufacturing process. Can another EV manufacturer or a historical like legacy manufacturer come in, take the real estate opportunity, especially with having Foxconn already on the bill for that thing, and Foxconn being a known technology provider. I think that there's opportunity here. It's sad to see like another like hometown Ohio,
an American company,
good
not cut it.
It's just a good story, and it just looks like it's not going to cut it. So we'll see what happens there. You just hate to see like good potential companies go down. I don't care whether it's a small, big business, auto, or anything else. So hopeful that jobs keep rolling.
The market always gets to choose. Speaking of the market choosing, that's not really a good segue. Speaking of heavy things.
Heavy things.
Heavy things.
Heavy. Yeah. Heavy in a different way.
Real heavy. The Chevy Silverado EV is about to begin commercial production, promising a 450-mile range backed by a gigantic 200 kilowatt battery. However, due to recent supply chain and economic pressure, Chevy is set to increase the initial starting price point. Big surprise.
No way.
From the initial price of a very reasonable $39,900. So basically, GM closed orders for the truck. You can no longer order one because they have 185,000 existing commercial orders. So they started production on the commercial trucks. Deliveries expected to begin soon, and then they'll open back up consumer orders, and then they'll announce the new starting price. But let me give you some stats on this truck, right? This is ridiculous. First of all, it weighs 8,500 pounds. A base level Silverado weighs just about 4,400 pounds. So do the math there. It's big, super heavy duty ones can get up in that 7,000 pound range, but 8,500. The tires, 61 PSI. Just in case you didn't know, like your car that you drive is like 35.
Right. 35 to 37, something like that. I just don't even know if like the gas station tire pump thing has
does
enough
that go to
pressure
60?
behind it.
Does that go to 60? I don't know. I've never dialed it. It's never set past 30 something.
I don't know. Right.
So get this. The 200 kilowatt battery is actually 50% larger than the battery that's in the F-150 Lightning. Right. So a Chevy Bolt, as example, has a 65 kilowatt battery.
My goodness.
So it's super heavy. Tires high PSI. The battery itself is heavier than most sedans, right? And CarPlay still works for now, but when you try to sync up CarPlay, it actually gives you a notification saying in future software updates, it will no longer be available. We'll see about that. I
just still cannot see it coming. I can't see it coming.
But it's going to be fun to watch this truck. The F-150 Lightning hit first. The Silverado is like, and at least you can tell this one's different from the front.
Yeah,
something I don't like about the Lightning. You're like,
well, it's funny because I don't know. I saw, following Jim Farley on LinkedIn, and the other day he was like, "We make trucks that look like trucks."
Yeah.
Right?
Because he was like the cyber.
Yeah.
He said the Cybertruck isn't for real people, I believe. Was
right. Exactly. He was like, "We're still making trucks that look like trucks." The Silverado is
a good
lot
brand
more
marketer.
Akin to the current Silverado, but definitely has a different look and feel on the front and even the rear tailgate. It blows my mind that it's 8,500 pounds. Now, Paul, right before the show, we were talking about the fact that just maybe 5 or 6 months ago, we were talking about how the trucks carrying these trucks on our poor highways, 8,500 pounds.
Times how many cars fit on a carrier?
What, nine cars?
Is it 9?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
9 or 11.
Well, we were talking before the show. The big punchline is no one's ever seen 9 in the same place anyway. So they haven't had that issue. But really, how do you do that, right? 72,000 pounds. Is that right?
Yeah,
It's
because
gonna be like
I think
70,
the
80,000 pounds plus the weight of the carrier.
yeah, the original, like the poundage that,
like a
that they were
cement
talking about
truck.
was like a 55,000 pound max limit on highway trucking. And so to put 8,500 pounds of these things on these trucks is just, that's going to be an unbelievable proposition. And just like what it's going to do to roads, what it's going to do to driveways, like can our current standards for
Can the truck even
roadways.
pull it? All right, I had to look it up.
All right.
A cement. I was like, what is a concrete truck weigh? You see those things going down?
Oh, yeah,
huge
yeah.
tires, almost flat, and that thing is just making all the noise getting up. A full cement truck is only 66,000 pounds.
Golly. Yeah.
I don't know who's gonna solve that one, but somebody's on it, I'm sure.
It's a the good thing is 61 PSI. You know, if that thing blows, don't get in its way. So,
Speaking of things, getting in things way of profit.
yeah.
For
yeah.
Stop. Segue.
Time.
We told you today. There's some
It's
hard but
kinda-
real
we'll
news.
try and
in
pick it
today's
up
show.
at the end. In the ongoing
we will.
positioning of EV manufacturing, Ford Motor Company is preparing to lay off hundreds of salaried engineers across all three of its divisions. That's EVs, ICE, and commercial vehicles to boost profitability and cut costs amid its $50 billion transition to electric vehicles. Earlier this year, Jim Farley did say that the company needed as many as 25% more engineers. So kind of like where are we headed with this thing?
Yep.
TR Reid, a spokesperson for Ford, stated, "We're not cost competitive. We have specific priorities and ambitions that have implications for skills, assignments, and staffing needs. These changes are consistent with that. They'll make us cost effective." You know, Ford has already been talking, and a lot of the EV manufacturers and legacy manufacturers have been talking about when they get to price parity in EVs with their ICE vehicles and their commercial vehicle sets. So I'm sure this is like a continued stockholder, appeasal push to try and get closer to price parity. But it does stand to reason that as your production changes and your product changes, your engineering requirements would need to change as well. So
probably going to ramp back up. I think this is kind of almost like a reshuffling. If they needed more engineers,
that's what it is. It's like, hey, this is just, these are the team members or the people that maybe we don't need based on a new product, requirements.
Or maybe they found a way to get ChatGPT to do engineering.
Oh boy, see there it was.
There it is. It's like we were talking about like all these things and all these big pieces moving around in the industry. And what is so cool about the industry and what is so cool about working in a dealership and being in a community that these things are happening and it's cool to be aware of them and just know what's going on and around.
Yep.
But like I'm looking through the comments and I see Brian Ortega and Adrian and John and Cirillo and Chris Reed. It's like these are people that are in the dirt every day. And we have a far, far greater impact in the dirt every day than these large sweeping changes or so-called sweeping changes. Because in the end of the day, a car is going to show up at the dealership lot. Someone's going to show up with a need, with kids, with stuff to tow, right? With a budget. And there's only one way they're getting from that need into an actual vehicle that's a fit. And that's through a dealership from someone who cares, who's listening.
And I love it because it's like, I still see yesterday on LinkedIn, 3 dealers saying, hey, we're building stores with our manufacturing partners. We're putting down deeper roots. We're building these gorgeous places for people to do business. So like the ground game is still strong. Being aware of things that are happening, things that are on the horizon is extremely important, but being in the dirt every single day, we're at the end of the month. We got 3 days left to go, 4 days left to go. Like that's important to your employees, to your customers, everybody that like stay in where you're at.
And we're going to answer the best question last. Michael Cirillo asks, I want to know how much my truck weighed when I filled the bed with water and turned it into a swimming pool for my kids. Hey, just another idea if you want to do something with your pickup EV or whatever that is.
Have some fun.
I killed the music. That was the weirdest outro ever because I killed the music. We're going to do a restart because I don't think I would feel good. I would not feel good if we left the outro without the beat dropping.
You guys like
so
that.
Look, we get it wrong sometimes. You get it wrong sometimes, but that's cool because we keep trying. We're going to get it right next time.
Keep